the theme for 2026 is the future religion. So, what are your thoughts on this theme? What's your personal experience? Anything you feel like sharing with us?
Mm. I think whenever we talk about the future, we have to acknowledge that the future is not necessarily on us, right? You have to look in the younger generations. And I see a few things that they are going through and they are experiencing, and the way they are handling life in a way is shifting. So I think in all that, the spiritual side of life is shifting. And when I look at those generations, I see that they reject restrictions and authority in a way that probably we didn't. And I find that's particularly strong with restrictive institutions, of which the church is kind of one of the prime examples. They are also part of these hyper-competitive social dynamic systems, particularly that pseudo reality constructed by social media, social networks. And I think that's almost an economy of digital identities, and that puts them also in this particularly stress that we were not part of. And they are also consuming a lot of narratives of meaning in a way, like what makes them meaningful. And there are little fragments coming from different places, whereas in the past we used to have like one big uh, narrative and one big source of this identity of
Yeah.
meaning, if you will. So in that sense, I feel like spirituality is shifting from something that was traditional and embedded in authority into something that it's more like wellness, self-care, a little bit like self-centered in a way. It's very often a truth that suits me rather than me surrendering to what actually is. So overall, I feel like it's religion is going beyond the institutions and still subject to the ego, like to the self, right?
Hmm.
So I think that's my initial impression of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. So it sort of poses a bigger challenge because I guess people are being more, um, are confronting it more in a different way, and they're not, I guess accepting it as a pre-formatted package. So they're challenging it, and I guess it can be positive because it
Mm,
means that it's more pure, or perhaps it's more thoroughly experienced as opposed to just accepting it as
yeah, yeah,
something that just you just take it the way it is and don't question anything about it.
I
Mm.
agree. Yeah, and the typical example of that could be going to mass, right? Like
Yeah,
many children go to mass because their parents force them to, and they are kind of just being there because they have to, as opposed to experiencing the real thing. And if they are to have a true spiritual experience, I think that might be for them
yeah,
constructive. Yeah.
yeah. It's true. And how do you feel, contemplative communities such as WCCM can, can affect the future of religion, if we so call can call
I,
it
I,
that way?
I yeah, yeah. I think it's very positive and the way to go in summary. The thing is, despite of these pressures that young people are going through, they would still need their esteem. They need a sense of belonging, their sense of identity, a community where they can express. So I think um, the WCCM and meditation in particular, following the Christian tradition, could be that door that fulfills that apparent need for something that is like a self-managed spirituality, but with the meaning of the true being, right? So in a way, when I see all these challenges that the church in general is facing, I see WCCM as the most robust lifeline, if you will, of the future of Christianity, really.